Morning. I thought I'd actually come on with my face this morning, with my hair that's definitely needing a hairdresser, but it will have to wait. Like many of us, just to prove that I'm still here and living and keep going. Show off bags under my eyes, you know, and all of those things. But to say good morning and welcome. So I do realise that I don't very often come on face to face, and it was when I put a picture up last week that somebody said, "Oh, I can see your face. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Beryl." So well, come on, just before I do a bit of crafting, I've got my cup of tea. I think I've got most of my supplies ahead of me. I must admit, I'm going into this week feeling very frazzled. The poor old postman, I was seeing some pictures of sorting offices over the weekend, and the poor postman, the piles of letters and parcels and things that are stacking up in sorting offices around the country. And of course, I'm very much reliant on sending out packages for online classes and things. So feeling very frazzled this morning because I did a class on Friday night and was very lucky to be able to carry on with the class. The kits that I had sent out hadn't arrived. As far as I know, they still haven't arrived, and they were sent first class right at the beginning of last week. I've got bingo kits out there somewhere that we're supposed to be doing tomorrow. To my knowledge, none of those have arrived yet, and whether they will. So brain is just buzzing this morning as to what's going to happen, when's it going to happen, is everybody going to feel okay about us having to change dates. And the only consolation is that nobody's going to be going very far. At least they're not going to have lots of meetings they're going out to or other social events they're going out to. It'll just depend if they've got another Zoom event booked. So I do feel this morning I've got my cup of tea as if first I need a massage. I feel as if my shoulders, I'm feeling tense. So I do need a massage, so you know, if anybody can do that remotely, that would be wonderful. I'm in need of some crafting. I don't know about you ladies, but so that's what we're going to do. We're going to come and do a bit of crafting, a bit of playing. So I'm not feeling at all organised. I know that's not anything too unusual, but even more unorganised than normal. But I have got a pile of things in front of me. We no doubt will have to nip off and fetch card and those sorts of things. But welcome, happy Monday, and let's hope that the week just gets better. The sun is shining. As I say, I've got my cup of tea. Let's do some crafting. So I'm going to turn you round and turn you down. Good morning, Tracy. Morning, Jedge. Let me switch the camera around and turn you down. Morning, Karen. Okay. We are going to be playing this week, or at least some of this week, with the Dressed to Impress suite, Best Dressed suite, the Dressed to Impress stamp set and all dressed up dies. Now this is a sort of unashamedly girly suite, really. It's bags and lipsticks and shoes, pretty papers, tassels, all of those sorts of things. Look at that lovely range of colours just there. So some really pretty, morning Jedge, morning Francis. So some really pretty little cards. Quite a lot of them have got sort of Happy Mother's Day on. Here in the UK, Mother's Day has been and gone. But I know elsewhere, I think it's sort of May time, isn't it? You've yet got Mother's Day to come, but for us Mother's Day has been and gone. So where any of these cards that we're going to be casing this morning have got Happy Mother's Day, I will be changing that out, but that doesn't mean that you have to. My quick slurp of tea, and obviously there is also the little sample that they put at the beginning, and that's this one. This is quite clever actually, this little sample, because those stripes are actually the die cut for the handle of the bags, and they've used lots of those little handles to create stripes on that card front before adding in flowers and a perfume bottle and things, so that's quite clever. But I thought we would have a little go, hi Glenda, at this little set just here. So this is a little bag of gift cards. So let me just show you what is in this suite to start with. So obviously a stamp set, and this stamp set's got some really nice big greetings on. You've got your Happy Mother's Day, hello fabulous, kindness is always in style, be bold as your lipstick. You've got these pretty flowers, you've got these little blobby stamps that you can use to fill in your flowers. You've got your lipstick, and again a blobby stamp you can use to fill it in. You've got your perfume, you've got your shoes, got this little bit of foliage just here, and these nice little dotty stamps. So you've got a nice little range of stamps there to create some pretty cards, and these allow you to get like a watercolour effect without watercolouring. So nice little range of stamp sets. You've also got dies, and you've got 15 dies in here. So you get your big bag, you get your handle for your bag, you get things like this could be your front, you can be a pocket on your bag if you want to, as well as being a sentiment tag. You've got your buckles, you've got your little label die just there, you've got your dies that cut out flowers, you've got these really cute little buttons, they're really useful, as well as having your perfume, your lipstick, your shoe. So a really nice set of dies to go with that stamp set. You have your papers, so they're 6x6 papers, and as well as having sort of makeup brushes and all those sorts of things on them, they also have these really beautiful floral designs. Look at that one, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Spots, more flowers, more spots, shoes and flowers, stripes and flowers, that big bold flower there. So nice sort of blackberry bliss, lots of handbags. Look at that stripe, that stripe's fabulous. And then you've got a pink stripe, lots of perfume bottles. So really, really lovely papers. So as well as having sort of the makeup-y elements, it's got these really beautiful florals. And so it is a really pretty pack of paper. So you've got your paper, your stamps, your dies. Let's flick over, make sure we haven't forgotten anything. Stamps and dies, paper, you've got this ribbon, which is a mint macaron 1/8 of an inch sheer linen ribbon. It's really pretty, really nice for tying, a good sort of size. It's not too big, so that's really lovely. You've got the tassels. I have dipped into some of my tassels, but you get 18 pieces, 6 each of 3 colours. So 6 pretty peacocks, 6 white and 6 petal pink. So they're really lovely for adding onto your projects. And then you get these little 3x3 cards, and these are very cute. So they've all got like a watercolour wash on the front. So that's a Daffodil Delight one, a Purple Posy one, and then this one is a little petal pink one. So you've got your cards like this with your little colour swashes on them, and then you get envelopes that match, and the envelopes are sort of printed with, like this one's got a stripy inner, so that's got flowers on it. This one is stripy with a spotty inner, and then your yellow one again is spotty and it's got this sort of floral inner. So they are really pretty. So let's make sure that we've got one each of the envelopes as well as one each of the cards. I would think that if you were making up a little bag like this, you'd have enough space in there to do 2 of each, but we're just going to do 1 of each this morning. So let me just tuck all those back to one side. Try not to lose them in case we need to dig into them again. So let's put our little cards to one side with our envelopes. And then we've got all our other little bits. As I say, and we're going to have a go at creating this little bag here with its little envelopes, cards and envelopes that go in it. So I am going to need, I'm going to go and grab a piece of purple posy cardstock. I'm also going to grab my Simply chamois that I'd put to wet. 2 seconds. One piece of purple posy cardstock, 1 wet Simply chamois. Put that to one side so it's ready for when we want. Now I've got slightly wet hands. We'll dry those on my jeans, that'll be fine, won't it? Okay, purple posy cardstock and dies. So, in order to make the bag, and we'll start with the bag, we're going to need 2 handles. We're going to need 2 of the bag dies cut out, and we're going to need some of these little buckles. We're going to need 2 sets of those in gold foil. I've got some gold foil. Got a piece of gold foil ready for our gold foil buckles. We are going to need a white tassel. So let's grab that out. And one other thing I'm going to need actually is some water. So let me just grab a little pot of water. Use the echo, we can use the kitchen. Let's come back. It's a good job I've got a nice long microphone. Right, I'm just going to put that little pot of water just there, and hopefully we won't knock it over. We can live in hope, can't we? Let's bring the rest of my microphone lead back. Right, so we're going to need to cut 2 of these bags. Now, I've done quite a few of cutting these bags out, and I don't think there is any way of doing it easier than having 2 coming along strip like that. And it needs to be, if I remember right, excuse me for wobbling you, I think if we make it about 12.5 centimetres. So if I cut a 12.5 centimetre strip from that piece of A4 card, that then allows that die to sit quite nicely on there. And we need, as I say, 2 of these. So let me cut 2 of these out, and then I can show you what they look like when you cut them. Because these bags really come together quite easily. And you can have a couple of different ways of using them. I think we used them before. We used them for the Easter Bunny bags, I think, didn't we? So let's move that out of the way for a moment. There's one bag piece. Let me swing the die round and run that through a second time. And there's a second bag piece. So then we're going to need a couple of handles. going to run these through one at a time. I have found in these bags that if you've got a double layer of card, so if you've got 2 pieces of card on top of each other, the handles will cut out 2 at a time. But that would mean fiddling around with that handle, that card, to get it so it's a double thickness. So we'll just cut them out individually. There's one. But if you are mass producing bags for a reason, if you were using them as a party gift bag or something and you needed to cut lots, if you have a double piece of card, I was finding that certainly with my machine I could easily cut 2 handles in one go. So there's 2 bags, 2 handles. I'm going to take my little piece of gold foil and my 2, I will take my 2 dies when I pick this one up, my 2 buckle dies. They don't want to go together, do they? And I'll run that through my machine and cut out a couple of these buckles. So it's quite nice that you've got 2 of these dies, because that does mean it saves a little bit of winding on your machine. Because each of those dies gives you 2 buckles. That one doesn't want to come out. So just with one run through the machine, you've got all 4 buckles for your bag. There they are. Let's just pop out these inner pieces on this buckle. Let's get rid of that piece of card. Morning, Lucy. Hope I haven't forgotten to say a good morning to anybody. So 1, 2, 3, 4 buckles, 2 bags, 2 handles. Right, now these bags, hopefully you can see that, are stitched and scored. So you've got all this stitching around here, but you've also got the score lines. So what I'm going to do is fold along these score lines. So those are your bottom sections. This is your side, and in the middle of those 2 score lines just there, 2 stitch lines, is another score just there. Morning, Valerie. Morning, Molly. And then this one, you have a couple of options with this score line. You can either have it so that it's going outwards, or you can have it so it's going inwards and making more of a rucksack. We're going to have it going outwards because we want to get our little cards and envelopes in there. So we're going to do exactly the same with the other one. Fold the bottom, so we could get our bone folder out and give that even more of a crisp fold. But to be honest, that is fine. Oh! Has everybody else got sound? Do tell me that you can hear me. Could I have a thumbs up that somebody can hear me? I've not had anybody else, Valerie, say they haven't got any sound. I've got some thumbs up, so obviously some people can hear me. Oh, Valerie. Could somebody message Valerie and let her know that we have sound? Sound's okay here. Good. That was a panic. I thought for a horrible moment I've been wittering at you for 10 minutes and you couldn't hear me. That might be a good thing. I wonder why Valerie hasn't got any sound. Hopefully that will sort itself. Okay, so what we're going to do, so along this little folded scored lip just here, I'm going to add in some Tombow once we get it running. So you could use tape for this as well, and just line those up. So you want this sort of V coming downwards, so it's coming like this. And then on this one, I'm going to put a bit of glue on there and match that side up. Just knocking all my tools all over the place. Take my folder there and give that a bit of a push. Now with the bottom of these, they don't completely match up, and you don't want to force them so that they do, because let's give that a bit of a squeeze. We want that sticking outwards. Because otherwise you'll totally misshapen your bag. So they don't quite meet up on the bottom there, but we're just going to put some Tombow on sort of this end of the flap. Oh dear. Phew, at least you're back with us, Valerie. We'll forgive him. Right, so now we've got our little bag. So we're having it squashed outwards, as I say, you can have them so that they come inwards, a bit more like a backpack. And you can have your straps coming over like backpack straps. But we want ours coming outwards because we want to pop some of those little gift cards inside. Now, before we put our straps on, we need to add our buckles. So let's thread one on there so that it comes that end. Aren't they cute? And we'll thread one on the other end like this. We'll do the same with the other strap. One, two, like that. And then we need to attach our little straps. Now we could do this with glue dots or dimensional. I'm just going to use a little blob of glue, and I'm just going to sit that there with my buckle coming down so it sits there. And then we'll do the same on the other end. Morning, Pam. And have that coming down there with our buckle sitting just there. And that glue will hopefully grab that buckle as well. So there's our little straps with their buckles on either side. Let's do the same for the other strap. We'll put some glue on the bottom. Bring our buckle down a bit. Make sure we're matching it up with the one on the other side. We obviously want this to be designer quality handbag, not just a cheap one you've picked up somewhere. So we'll have our buckles matching. Same this side. Slip buckle down a smidge. Fingers are getting sticky now, that's the trouble. Right, so there we have our little bag with its buckles, looking rather cute. Now, this little tassel just here is not just white, it has a pink end. Now, according to the instructions, and I've not tried this, let's see how this goes. It says to take a stamping blend that is a dark, lovely lipstick stamping blend to colour the end. So that's what we'll do. And then to dip that into water. I wouldn't think the colour would come up a great deal, but it is a little bit. Just enough of a bit of a fade before that blend dries completely, because obviously these are permanent markers as opposed to water-based markers. But if I take that out and lay it on there, can you see where it has bled very slightly into that oh, thank you. I did my nails yesterday. In fact, there is some white pink coming up on there, look. So what I'm going to do is let's give that a bit of a wipe. That's going to remain fairly pink, I imagine. Oh no, and that's coming off while it's still wet. So what I'm going to do is I am going to give that a bit of a dry with my hot glue gun. Not hot glue gun, with my heat gun. Oh yeah, that has actually bled quite a bit. See, me of little faith. I didn't know I didn't think that would bleed very much, but it did. So yeah, so when I had a shower yesterday morning, Valerie, Mike had told me the day before that my hair needed cutting. It's nothing like making me feel better when, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. So I thought, blow it. I got up yesterday morning and I dried my hair and I straightened it rather than just rubbing it with a towel and leaving it. And I thought, I'm going to paint my nails. Don't do that very often, very rare occasion. But I just felt in need of a bit of a pamper. Bless him, he then asked me last night if I'd bruised my nail. What have you done to your hand? Have you bruised it? No, it's my nail varnish. What can I do with him, eh? Right, that's not perfectly dry, but it's dry enough. That's really quite pretty, isn't it? So there we are. We've gone from a white tassel to being sort of a ombre effect tassel. I quite like that. Right, so what we're going to do is we're now going to tie that onto our bag, and we're just going to use a little bit of white twine to do that. Ooh. Why is my twine drawer not opening? What's stuck? So let's just thread some white twine through there. And Let's tie it around that handle with a bit of a bow. There, we've got a very pretty ombre effect tassel on there. Well, I think we might be doing that again, girls, don't you? And obviously you could, when you no longer have tassels, as long as you've got some little rings or something, you can make your own tassels out of thread. Indeed, Glenda, indeed, particularly at the moment. There, that's quite pretty. It's a good job we're playing with all the lipsticks and things today, isn't it? I very rarely put makeup and things on. Really can't be bothered. I certainly wouldn't want to feel like I've got to get up every morning and do that. Right, so which one shall we start with? Let's go with this little purple posy card. Now, a little purple posy card in this little set. Oh, Stella, good. Right, so our little purple posy card here has got little lipstick on it, look, and some of the pretty paper in the background. So let's find some of that pretty paper. Which pretty paper do we think it is? I think it is that one. I obviously flicked past it. So this little pretty paper here, on the back it's got lipsticks and things. On the front it has got these pretty little flowers, really quite cute. Now then, are we just going to cut that to shape, or shall we use a stitched die? Should we give that a bit of stitching as well? Let me just dig about and find my stitched shape dies. I know we do need them for one of the others. I think actually they're possibly going to be a little bit too big. I don't think it will give us enough of a glimpse of that little bit of purple underneath. So these are 3-inch square cards. Let's cut a square that's 2.5 inches, I think, and then that will give us a nice flash of that purple posy watercolour wash effect on the front. So obviously you could very easily get 3 of these out of a 6x6 square with a bit of a border for something else. So let's just stick that paper to that card front. And then I'm going to take, she says optimistically, yes, the 2.25 inch punch. I knew that I'd grabbed it. Let me find a little bit of Whisper White card and punch out a 2.25 inch circle for the big in front of that. And onto that we are going to stamp this sentiment that says, "Be bold as your lipstick." Obviously I don't wear lipstick, so that wouldn't be oh Glenda, that sounds lovely, a pamper day with your grandchildren. I don't wear lipstick, so it would not be a good idea for me to be as bold as my lipstick, because my lipstick is non-existent. But Your lipstick does make a big difference depending on what colour you made. I was watching a news report yesterday, and one lady had made quite an unfortunate choice in her colour of lipstick. She looked most odd, but it was bold. Doesn't say your lipstick has to be the best choice. It just says go with it, be bold. That material, that would look very nice on some material. That would make a very nice cotton print, wouldn't it, Stella? Yeah, quite right. That would be very pretty as a material. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this sheer ribbon and we're going to give ourselves a bit of a smoosh across the back here with this ribbon. Let me stick some snail on the back, and then that will hold it in place as we smoosh it. Oh no, I haven't got any allergies to it, Angie. It just is that most of the time I just really can't be bothered. But yesterday I felt the need. Do we want to come back again? No, I think we're going to leave it as that. Let's trim that off, and then we'll get some dimensionals to pop that up. Morning, Jane. Oh, Jane, this is one for you. You're an Avon lady, aren't you? So here is a kit for you. Nail varnish, lipstick, perfume bottles. Perfect. Right, so there's our little background to our card. I think that's it, isn't it, Glenda? Some people do. Absolutely, it's sort of a part of, it's almost part of, it's part of their identity almost. It's what makes them feel good about themselves, and that's absolutely fabulous. And I certainly wouldn't deny them that pleasure. I suppose my mum never did either. My mum never wore a lot of makeup and things unless she was going out, so it wasn't something that I was in the habit of doing. Right, so I've just stamped with Memento. It didn't really matter, I could have used Stays On. That lipstick on there, and then I'm going to take this long wiggly stamp and this stamp just here, and I'm going to use those to colour in my lipstick. So we're going to have lovely lipstick, obviously, as the colour at the top. I'm just going to do that, give that a bit of a colour. And then obviously the purple posy card colour, the ink pad, it had huge problems, bless it, and has never really quite made it. I have got one, but it doesn't stamp properly. There just was some chemical reaction that kept happening with the colours for the purple posy ink. And it must have been something about the colours that was needed to create, you know, the chemicals that were needed to create that colour just did not react well together. So what I'm going to do, I've got some Highland Heather here. I'm going to stamp it off once, and then I'm going to stamp that on there. and that's going to give us sort of almost a purple posy-ish colour. And then we're going to take our die and we'll cut out our lipstick. There we go. You just run that through my machine. So yeah, Jane's out in Maudsley, so if you are looking for an Avon lady in these parts, get in touch with Jane. So let's put a couple of little dimensionals on the back of that as well, because, well, we can. I've got these little bits here that are snipped. One there. And one there. Oh no! Shampoos. It doesn't matter whether you're 50 or whether you're 80, Stella. You always look very glamorous with your nails and things. And I often think that I should make more of an effort. Right, so there we are. There's one little card. And we've got our little envelope to match. So here's our little envelope to match with its spotty inner. There we are. That's really quite cute, isn't it? And we'll pop that in our bag. Card number 2. So let's take our yellow card, and for this one I am going to take that stitched square, that one, or that slightly bigger one. I think we can go with the slightly bigger one just because we're going to do it in vellum, so it's going to be you're going to be able to see through it anyway. So let me just trim down a piece of this vellum and run that through my machine. My vellum is curled, so my die doesn't want to sit on it. There we go. Got you. So here we've got our card with our yellow water wash on it. We've got a bit of vellum that's going to do you have to give them a Glenda, when she gives them grandchildren a kiss, leaves them nice lipsticky kiss marks. Excellent. Give them a bit of a spit wash with your hanky. Right, let's find our perfume bottle now. And we will stamp our perfume bottle. Again, we'll use our memento. We'll also get one of these flowers, I think this big single flower with its leaf, and we will stamp one of those. We have dies for both of those. Let's take this sort of larger blobby blob die and the Daffodil Delight. And let's stamp that label on that perfume. Then our little flower. I'm going to take this one that we used for the top of the lipstick, and we're going to give it a purple posy effect flower. So again, we're going to ink up our Highland Heather. Let's stamp it off once, and then we'll stamp our flower. That doesn't show up ever so well, but there is, I promise you, some colour on there. And then we're going to take this other little one and some mint macaron. It's my bag die going on the floor. And we'll use that just to colour those leaves. And once we cut those out, it sort of will cut round the edge so that it won't look quite so much like a big blob. Right, we have got this little long set of dies. Don't want to lose that. We have got this little label just here that we can cut out. Now obviously I don't want it to be Happy Mother's Day, and Life is Short by the Shoes really isn't going to work for a perfume bottle. Let's have a quick glance along my shelf and find something that will fit in there. Does that fit in there? I think that might. That's from the Butterfly Gala set. It says a little note. Let's just give that a stamp in some lovely lipstick so it's a nice contrast. It'll be standing out a bit like Glenda's lipstick on her grandchildren. I'm just going to stamp a little note on there. It's a nice font, isn't it? So let's just take these over to the die cutting machine and let's cut out our greeting, our flower and our perfume bottle. I've got a case of dropping everything today. That's that die retrieved. I think I am tired. That doesn't help, does it? Didn't sleep particularly well last night. I woke up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back off. Right, there we go. And another die gone on the floor. Goodness me. I'd say that my floor has suddenly got a magnetic attraction, but as it's made of wood, I doubt it very much. Okay, so we have our little yellow card base with our vellum top, our perfume bottle, our little flower, and our greeting that says a little note. So let's stick some of those in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my perfume bottle where I want it on my vellum, because that will then give me a guide for where I can put some glue on the back of my vellum. So we'll have that about there. And then if I turn this over, I can put some glue on there, and then we shall have stuck our vellum down without any adhesive showing. Let's get our little flower, and we'll snip a bit more off the outside of these. Let's put our flower on there. Our little greeting going across there, and then I'm going to dig about in my embellishment box and hopefully find the right sequins. Don't want the poppy ones, want these ones, want the little one, the woven thread ones, because there's some sort of purple posy-ish little sequins in there. So we'll just put some little blobs of glue on there. Let's get up our sticky picker upper. Oh no, we've got every colour bar the one we want. I don't know why we've got such a big blob on there. We'll have one. And two. And then we'll have another one down there. So there we go, a little note. So for that one we need our yellow envelope with its little floral inner, very pretty. And we need to add that to our bag. So we've got a lipstick, we've got a perfume, and last but not least we're going to use this little one with its petal pink watercolour flash on it. And we'll go back to our little strip of paper and going to cut a strip that's let's go about 1/2 inch, I think, and we want it to be going to go 2 3/4 of an inch, and we'll have that coming across here. And then we've got our flash of petal pink coming underneath. Before I stick that, we are going to actually stamp directly onto the card for this one. And we are going to use the Life is Short by the Shoes. And if the amount of parcels that are stocking up at sorting offices and things here is anything to go by, people are indeed buying the shoes and anything else that they catches their eye, and it's all being delivered to them in the post. So let's ink up Life is Short by the Shoes, and we will stamp that on here. And we'll take our little strip of paper. Oh, managed to get a blobby mess on there. Never mind. Where have I picked ink up off of? There's the culprit. Look, I've obviously touched the ink pad with my hand. Let's put the lid on there, although I'm going to want it in a second. So there is Life is Short by the Shoes. I will take my ink rubber to that later and hopefully get rid of any of those inky marks. But now we're going to want the shoe stamp, and we're actually going to want a couple. So I'm actually going to stamp and cut 2. As you can see in my stamp set, I have got a mask, so I have been making some other things with this stamp set where I have masked off the shoe and sort of stamped one behind the other to make a pair of shoes. But that was if I was going to be stamping it direct onto the front of the card, but on this occasion I'm not. I'm going to be die cutting them so I can stamp and cut 2 separate shoes. So we're going to do these in Memento ink because we're then going to colour them in. There's one, and there's 2. And they've been very cleverly drawn so that actually they don't look particularly either left shoe or right shoe. You can have them going either way. And obviously you could be very clever and stamp them so that you could mirror them and have one going each way. Right, I've got the dark stamping blend and I've got the light stamping blend there. So I'm going to put a bit dark in there. Some dark coming around here. We'll come in with our lighter one. And let's just, we could have come in with a different colour heel, but let's just give it a paler, a lovely light, lovely lipstick heel. And then let's do this second one. And we'll come around these edges, this little bit in the middle. We'll give the toe a bit of a darker. And then come in our lighter one and blend it all out. There we are, and then we'll come down in that heel. And then let's find the die for the shoes. And while I'm there, I'm going to die cut a button as well out of gold foil. If I can see my gold foil. Oh, I might have put it in a very safe place, mightn't I? Let me just grab another oddment of gold foil. Perfect. Run that through. One shoe, one button, and a second shoe. So let's just stick our shoes onto the front of our card and put that one on directly. This one I'm going to put some dimensionals on so it stands forward a little bit. Makes them feel a little bit more 3D. There's our second shoe. Let's put a few more little sequins on. One. And two. and 3. That's quite cute. Life is short. Buy the shoes. And then our little button. How sweet is that? Morning, Em. Just going to take a little bit more of this ribbon, tie a little bow, let's trim the ends on that. Find a glue dot. And pop that in the middle of our button, and then we'll take our envelope and another glue dot. Ooh, that first glue dot is obviously poking through the holes a little bit on the button. And add that to the back of the envelope. How cute is that? We could have done that on all of our envelopes. That's something we can go back and do. So we have a little bag with its ombre effect tassel, and inside it we have our 3 little cards. Be bold as your lipstick, a little note, and life is short. Buy the shoes. So that would make a lovely little gift. And say you could probably, I think you'd be able to do 2 of each of those cards and make that a little pack of 6. And if you wanted to, you could put a pocket on the front, a bit more of the paper, but just really cute. A cute little gift bag full of little note cards that you could give away. So that was our Case the Catalogue this morning. Here we are, here it is in the catalogue. Oh look, we haven't done those flowers. So that little envelope there has got a little bunch of flowers on, and we've not done that. Oh, I think we should. Let's grab that little envelope just there. And that is simply the big splodge in petal pink. Oh, we can't case the catalogue if we're not going to case the catalogue. So there's our splodge. We need it to say, hello, fabulous. Lovely lipstick. Like that. And then we need our little flowers. So we want that one. And 2 of that one. So let's bring in a little smidgen of Whisper White card and our Memento ink. So we need 1, 2 of those. And 1 of those, and then we need our little splodges. Oh look, now I've blobbed on there. How annoying. More haste, less speed, Helen. So we'll have a yellow flower. And then we'll take our Highland Heather and do 1, 2, 3, and then we'll grab our little blob and our mint macaron. One, 2, 3. And taking our flower dies, we'll just cut those flowers out. And we'll see if we can't cover up our blob. While we're at it, lean back. Okay, now what have I done with my envelope? Oh dear. We were doing so well, weren't we? Should have quit while we were ahead. It must be here somewhere. I'm sure I'm probably staring at it. That tends to be the case. Well, that is very peculiar. Well, I think I'm just going to say that I have my flowers ready to go on my envelope. When I find my envelope and card, I will stick them on and I will add them to the picture. Have we got another one? Yes. No, completely gone. It's obviously time for a cup of tea, ladies. When I find my envelope, I will stick those on and I will add that to the picture. So we have 3 little envelopes to go on our little envelope that says hello fabulous, wherever it may have disappeared to. But thank you for joining me today. I think now's the time to quit while we're semi ahead. And I will be back tomorrow morning and we will play some more with this lovely little set with all its lipsticks and with its perfume bottles and its shoes and its bags, and we'll create some more lovely projects with it. So I will see you then.